Welcome everyone, welcome to the Civil Service Data Challenge semi-final. We're all really excited to have you here today. We're really looking forward to it. Over to you.
Good afternoon, judges. I'm Katie. I'm the Head of Vehicle Statistics at the Department for Transport. And with me today, I've got Zach, Luca, Claire, James, Anna, and Pat. And we're the team behind EVWare, an innovative platform that brings together new and existing data that gives insights into where electric vehicles are kept and being driven in the UK. With your help, we'll build EVWare to inform billions of pounds of public and taxpayer industry investment into electric vehicle infrastructure in the UK. This will improve air quality, reduce the burden on the NHS, and power EV usage across the UK to reduce the effects of climate change.
Good afternoon, I'm Luca and I'm an economist working at the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero. This is Ella Adu Kissy Deborah. Ella died when she was just 9 years old. It was ruled that the cause of death was air pollution. Tragically, Ella is one of many. In the UK, it is estimated around 30,000 people die annually due to poor air quality, 10,000 of which can be attributed directly to cars and vans. Poor air quality is linked with both heart disease and lung cancer and is estimated to cost the NHS £6 billion annually. Transport is one of the major contributors to both air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. This graph shows the top 3 emitting sectors in the UK, and we can see that transport is the single largest emitting sector. We can also see that transport is the only sector out of these 3 which has not seen a consistent decrease in emissions over the last 30 years. As well as the devastating health effects, these emissions are causing climate change, raising temperatures, and destroying our natural environment. The continued use of fossil fuels is threatening the future of our planet and humanity. The good news is that our government has acknowledged these issues and has committed to reaching zero emissions across all sectors by 2050. As part of this, there's a zero emissions vehicle mandate, which requires that all new registrations of vehicles will be zero emissions by 2035. This requires the biggest change in our vehicle fleet since the invention of the car. Currently, we lack the robust and efficient charging infrastructure needed to help support our EV uptake and our net zero ambitions. Building the necessary infrastructure requires effective collaboration and investment across both private and public sector. However, across our government departments, we keep hearing the same questions from the same stakeholders. The key question being, where are electric vehicles being kept, driven, and charged? And our main stakeholders are local authorities and charge point operators who want to know where the best places are to build charging infrastructure, distribution network operators who want to anticipate future electricity demands, and central and devolved governments who want to monitor EV uptake and help support lagging areas.
We want to ensure our partners across government and industry have the right information to improve EV infrastructure. But right now, we have 2 large problems. Firstly, there is no data on where EVs are being kept and driven. And secondly, the data we need to inform our partners is disaggregated across various government departments and commercial partners, including DfT, the ONS, DEFRA, and ZapMap. Without overcoming these challenges, we risk wasting public money on poorly planned charging infrastructure around the UK. We risk slowing EV uptake, and we risk missing our chance to reduce the effects of climate change. But most importantly, we risk more tragic cases like that of Ella's. That's why we're proposing EVWare, a cloud-based geospatial data hub to solve this problem. Our data hub has 3 main functions: aggregation of government data assets, integration with geospatial resolution, and then access for our stakeholders. Firstly, we'll be creating a new statistical data set through aggregation of already held but underutilised government data assets, such as automatic number plate recognition, ANPR, and GPS data. We're going to seamlessly integrate these data from various government departments alongside our new innovative analysis on a single platform with the same geospatial resolution. And we'll then provide access to this for our stakeholders across government, local authorities, and also the public. Our data hub has the ability to grow with more data as needed, and the platform provides a foundation for further data innovation. The hub will also support the goals of the UK government's national data strategy in a secure environment.
Good afternoon, judges. I'm Claire Baxter, and I'm Head of Electric Vehicle Charging Infrastructure at Department for Transport. I'm going to talk to you about how we'll make this data available to our stakeholders and the benefits this will bring. There are two ways we'll make this available. Number one is through data downloads and APIs, allowing our stakeholders listed here to analyse the data in a secure, responsible and efficient way. And number two, we'll build a data dashboard visualisation, which will allow access to the data for engagement, dissemination and exploration by non-data experts. You can see here an example of how this dashboard might look. We show here an area that is low scoring for EVs, and compared to areas with similar household income, it has a lower than average proportion of EV road usage, a lower than average charging infrastructure, and a higher than average pollution level. EVware will help to answer that question of where EVs are being kept, driven and charged at granular level across the UK, and will allow our stakeholders to know where to deploy charging infrastructure and where to invest public money. So why should you support our idea? EVware will impact these users across the civil service and the wider EV industry in the UK. Central and devolved governments will be able to monitor progress to net zero and to know whether to make evidence-based decisions about whether to intervene. This will also benefit other areas of road use policy, such as automated vehicles, which may be on the UK roads within 2 years. Local authorities will be able to better plan where to install charge point infrastructure, which is particularly important as over £380 million of central government money has been made available for English local authorities to apply for through the Local Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Fund. Distribution network operators will be able to plan where to install increased electricity infrastructure to be able to plan and prepare for increased demand from charging of electric vehicles. And finally, charge point operators will be able to better plan where to install charging infrastructure, reducing wasted resource and creating a better driving and charging experience for UK EV drivers. EVware will also help to drive the UK's commitment to net zero. We must remove all 40 million combustion engines from the UK's road by 2050, bringing with it vital health benefits we need to prevent unnecessary deaths. We've recently held discussions with stakeholders. The government's Office for Zero Emission Vehicles have said EVware is crucial in enabling work to accelerate the transition to zero emission vehicles, and representatives from Wales have said EVware plays a crucial role in knowing where vehicles are located across the UK.
Good afternoon. I'm James. I'm an economist at Ofgem, the energy regulator deals with the UK energy market, as well as a very keen interest in how EV uptake comes through. So with your help, we're able to drive this change that you've seen through this presentation. And with that £50,000, we can provision 3 full-time members of staff and consultancy over a 2.5 to 3 month period to conduct a short discovery and a proof of concept. So within the discovery phase, it's about validating access to the data sources, agreeing a backlog for a minimal viable product, and providing a recommendation of how best to host the data. When we move on to the proof of concept, there'll be preliminary analysis of the GPS and ANPR data, the initial build of the data hub, and a prototype of the dashboard. So we'd also need to secure some resource from the civil service to support the team and ensure they're engaging the right stakeholders through the whole process. So to summarise, EVware will allow innovative analysis of the changing vehicle landscape and driving behaviours, and that can be shared with stakeholders across the civil service, EV industry, and wider business community, and the general public. So as you spend today deliberating and comparing the merits of each of the ideas that have been presented to you, please remember this is a truly cross-government effort to enable decisive, wide-scale change. EVware will play a key part in improving air quality for all, reducing the burden on the NHS, and creating a healthier, happier net zero UK. We never want another death like Hella's. Thank you very much.
Thank you, team. Right, who would like to kick us off with any questions?
I'll start, Jackie. So, Tim, great presentation. I love your passion for the proposal you've shared with us. I'm Simon Bourne. I'm the Chief DDAT Officer for the Home Office. So as a DDAT leader, my head immediately goes to how technically realistic is this? And you talked about in the proposed discovery phase, validating access to different data sets, but how much confidence do you currently have that you can get the right data that you need to inform the model?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the data that we want to use is actually already publicly available. So many of the data sets on like socio-economic factors, pollution levels, They're all quite challenging, as we probably all know if we've ever tried to integrate different data sets at a geospatial level. They're all quite challenging to sort of overlay together, which is something that often I think blocks people like local authorities with maybe limited resources from doing so. We do need to create a new methodology for the analysis of the ANPR and GPS data to bring that new data alongside those other already available data sets. So as part of our discovery phase, I think we'd want to look into how that's possible. But we do already use these data sets for other things. So it would just be repurposing that analysis to ask the question of where EVs are rather than the other questions that have been asked in the past.
Where my head was going with, you talk about where EVs are kept and driven. How would you drill into data on where they're kept? Just bring that to life for me.
On the GPS data, we have, for example, data sets on the start and end of journeys. So I think we'd want to create a model that looked at that. From ANPR data, we have the road usage by them in different places. And what we'd like to do is sort of use those two data sets together to verify each other.